Hello, and welcome to our Masterclass. Raise your hand if you'd like to manifest more happiness in your life. Thank you. Raise your hand if you'd like to manifest more abundance in your life. Thank you. And raise your hand if you'd like to manifest doing more of what you love doing. Thank you. Hi, my name is DC. I'm a manifestation mindset coach. And in this short presentation I have with you today, I'm going to reveal the 3 secrets that helped me shift my entire life from struggling and uncertainty to abundance and purpose. I will be sharing with you how to get from where there could be more happiness, more abundance, and more ability to do what you love to manifesting the happiest version of yourself, manifesting becoming the most abundant you've ever been, and having the time of your life doing what you love doing than you've ever had in your entire life. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. But before we get into it, I want to start by acknowledging the incredible technology that allows us to connect like this, no matter where we are in the world. I also want to acknowledge the timing. In a world full of distractions, you found your way to this specific session for a reason. And I also want to thank you for taking action and showing up. So give yourselves a big round of applause. In this short session, I'll be sharing with you 3 main secrets to help you achieve and manifest more happiness, more abundance, and more time freedom. The first secret you will learn is how to achieve more happiness. The second secret you will learn is to acquire more abundance. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. And the third secret you will learn, and this is my personal favorite of all, is how to truly do more of what you love doing to make this life worthwhile. By the end of this masterclass, you will walk away with the exact simple system and methodology to stop feeling exhausted, conquer negative thinking, and finally align with your purpose so you can truly become your zenith and manifest a good life. Why not you? It will help with your discipline. It will help you with those who lack motivation. It will help you become one with the result that you want. So the results come automatically, or a lot of the time, I'd like to say automagically. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. But before we get into it, you might be wondering, what gives me the right to share these secrets with you? So, is it okay that I share a little bit of a backstory so you know why I get to share this message with you today? Is that okay? Thank you. A lot of people look at me today and they're probably thinking, how is he so magnetically clear, so unshakable, and so vibrant? How is he so deep at peace and in command of his own destiny, possessing this absolute wealth of knowledge? They see me living by example, fulfilling my purpose as a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science, and quite literally having the time of my life doing it. But let me tell you something. It wasn't always this way. Not so long ago, my life felt completely small and heavy. Instead of being magnetically abundant in my mindset, I was living in a constant state of lack, wondering if I would ever catch a break. I wasn't unshakable. I was brittle, anxious, and waking up every day with a weight on my chest. Instead of being a source of light for others, I felt completely trapped, disconnected from my purpose, and honestly, I was just exhausted from pretending that I had it all figured out when I was just surviving. Just a few years ago, I was living in isolation. I was consumed by grief. I was caring for my mother, the one person who was my anchor, who meant everything to me. She was the one person who believed in me when no one else would. You know that feeling, don't you? Having that one person who is quite literally your whole world. That day she passed away in my arms at home, that moment changed me forever. When I lost her, I didn't just lose a person. I lost my purpose. I lost my belief. I never felt so lost and utterly alone in my entire life. I truly believed that I would never find my way back. Raise your hand if you've ever felt lost and perhaps even all alone. Thank you for your honesty. I don't know if you've ever been through that kind of crushing loss, or perhaps have been in a situation where you felt completely anchorless, like your foundation was just ripped from under you. If you've ever felt that kind of loneliness, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was struggling to breathe in that darkness. Then, what seemed to be a random twist of fate, I stumbled upon a YouTube channel by a world-renowned thought leader. I started following his teachings and later attended a live event. But I didn't just listen. I became a dedicated student. I realized that the world of manifestation was huge and often confusing, and I made it my mission to find the common threads that actually produce results. I've invested thousands of dollars of my own money and traveled the world to places like Dubai, seeking the greatest minds and the highest levels of knowledge. Through these travels and years of intense study, sifting through thousands of videos and researching the top manifestation philosophies, I discovered 3 specific secrets. I did all the hard work of consolidating all that massive, scattered information so you don't have to. I've traveled the globe bringing you the best of the best, distilled into a single, reliable methodology. I've focused on the science, from the reticular activating system to vibrational frequencies, to ensure what I'm sharing is solid and tangible. When I started applying these 3 secrets, I discovered it completely changed my life. They became the undeniable bridge between the person consumed by grief to the person standing here today. I started to believe in myself again, just as my mom always believed in me. I used these secrets to manifest a good, supportive, global community that reinforced that belief. They allowed me to transform my pain into my purpose. Now I have the privilege to pay it forward as your guide, and I have done the heavy lifting of distilling the how into a package that actually works. I am no longer lost. I am no longer alone. And I finally found my purpose in saving you the time, energy, and confusion I went through by providing you with this condensed truth. All because I implemented these 3 secrets that completely and positively changed the trajectory of my life. Raise your hand if you'd like me to share these 3 secrets with you. Thank you. Okay, let's get straight into it. This is the Zenith Mastery Accelerator Triangle. And the first secret is your success DNA. Now you're probably wondering, what does that mean? It means that your success DNA is the inherent biological intelligence within you that knows how to grow, evolve, and thrive because that progress is already coded into your existence as your natural state. In other words, you were born with everything you need to succeed and experience true happiness in life, in all areas, believe it or not. Now let me ask you a question. Raise your hand if you've ever felt that natural internal drive to grow and become more than you are today. Thank you. The biggest problem I see is that most people believe that they're born empty, or even worse, that they're born broken. They think manifestation is about adding something they don't have, like a new skill or a lucky break. But the reality is, you aren't lacking the success DNA, you've just allowed the world to pile negative conditioning and mental dust on top of it. You're trying to build a new house when you already own a palace. You just haven't cleaned the windows in years. Because I keep seeing people fail with these exact problems, that's why I created this system. Let me give you an example. Think about a baby learning how to walk. It is the most innate, natural process in the world. Now let me ask you, how long would you give the average baby to learn how to walk before you tap them on the shoulder and tell them it's okay to just give up? Approximately how long? Do we give them about 6 weeks, let them take a Christmas break, and then see if they want to come back to it? No. That baby is going to continue to try until when? Until it walks. A baby doesn't have insecurities. It doesn't have a crawling mindset. Have you ever noticed how a baby can just be happy for absolutely no reason? Because there's no negative conditioning yet, it remains in its natural state of joy, and it eventually walks. That is proof that success and true happiness is literally in our DNA. The only reason we struggle now is because we've been taught and programmed otherwise. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, working 10 times harder than everyone else, yet it feels like you're running in place on a treadmill while you watch life pass you by? Have you ever had a big dream or a gut feeling to go for something, but you talked yourself out of it before you even started because you were afraid of looking foolish or failing? Have you ever looked at someone else who has exactly what you want, the wealth, the health, the relationship, and felt a sting of frustration because you know you are just as capable, but you just can't seem to find the on switch? That's why you need to tap into your success DNA. Imagine waking up every single morning with the quiet, unshakable confidence of that baby, where you don't just hope things would work out, but you move with the absolute certainty that your success is a mathematical and biological inevitability. Imagine looking at a massive challenge or setback, and instead of feeling that heavy weight of defeat, you feel the surge of until energy rising up because you finally realize that failure is just a temporary state on the way to your natural destination. Imagine the total peace of mind and pure happiness that comes when you stop trying to be successful and you start allowing your innate blueprint to take the lead, turning that uphill struggle into a downhill glide where opportunities finally start chasing you. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the universe would give a baby the urge to walk without also giving it the innate internal mechanics to make it happen? Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, DC, that sounds great, but I've tried to change my mindset before and I've always ended up right back where I started. Maybe my DNA is just different. I have a close friend who felt exactly the same way. We were in the same class together in Dubai, and she spent years going from seminar to seminar, trying to fix herself, but nothing stuck. It wasn't until she stopped trying to learn new manifestation tricks and started focusing on removing the conditioning that was blocking her innate nature that everything shifted. Once she cleared the static, her life and business exponentiated almost overnight. She monetized her YouTube channel, and her coaching career took off with an influx of new clients. The fact is, neuroscience shows us that the brain is neuroplastic. It is literally designed to be rewired. Your current stuck state isn't a permanent identity. It's just a set of neural pathways that were built by negative conditioning. Just like a computer, you aren't broken. You're just running old, outdated software that was never yours to begin with. You might be feeling this way right now. Not too long ago, I felt the same way. After I lost my mother, who was my anchor and my biggest believer, I felt completely lost. I thought my spark for success had died with her. I felt alone, and like I was just going through the motions. But I realized that the success DNA she had always saw in me had never left. It was just buried under the weight of grief and conditioning. I had to find my way back to my own blueprint. Now you're probably wondering, how do I apply our success DNA? Let me tell you, it's easy. Let me break it down for you in 3 simple steps. Step number 1, identify the static. Please write this down. The first step is recognizing the difference between your true innate voice and the external noise you've absorbed over the years. You must pinpoint the outdated conditioning that is currently masking your success DNA. Now let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel a strong, undeniable gut instinct about your next move, only to immediately overthink it and talk yourself right out of it? The biggest challenge I see is that people are trying to tune into their original blueprint while standing next to a loud construction site. The static of past conditioning is at max volume, competing with your success DNA. Let me give you an example. I remember being in Dubai, sitting in a room surrounded by incredible knowledge and high-level success. I was looking around at people who were running massive global businesses, traveling the world, and making huge philanthropic impacts. And as I sat there, I felt this massive gap between where I was at the time, building my resources and my network from the ground up, and where they were. I couldn't even hear my own intuition because I was still playing back the voices of every person from my past who ever told me I was aiming too high or asked, "Who do you think you are?" But there was a profound realization I had in that room. The static affected everyone. Whether you're just starting out or whether you're running a multi-million-dollar business and trying to reach your next monumental tier, the static always tries to distract your focus when you level up. Even the highly seasoned people in that room who had to actively conquer their own interference. Because if you don't clear the static, it keeps your storehouse firmly shut, regardless of how much external success you have. Have you ever felt that massive wave of excitement when you started a new chapter, only to have a heavy, familiar voice from your past instantly drain your energy and pull you right back to square one? Have you ever felt the quiet exhaustion of living a life designed by someone else's expectations? Walking around every single day in a suit that's 3 sizes too small? Have you ever felt completely drained of your own vitality because you spent all your time trying to tune into everyone else's frequency, leaving you wondering where your true power went? That's why you need step number 1, identifying the static, to distinguish between your true voice and the borrowed voices of teachers, parents, or past experiences creating interference in your storehouse. Imagine if you could walk into any room, no matter how intimidating, and feel a deep, unshakable certainty in your own steps, knowing you hold absolute authority over your path. Imagine the profound liberation of finally shedding the weight of everyone else's opinions, freeing up that energy to actively build your dream life. Imagine waking up every single morning with pure, unburdened happiness and a crystal clear vision, manifesting the good life from a state of total, effortless alignment. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. Step number 2, acknowledging the storehouse. Please write this down. The second step is recognizing that you already possess an infinite reservoir of power and potential within you. You must stop looking inside for the missing piece and start trusting the absolute authority of your own internal storehouse. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever find yourself constantly seeking out the next book, the next course, or the next expert, hoping they'll finally hand you the secret formula you feel you are missing? The biggest challenge I see is what I call the seeker's trap, getting caught in the endless loop of consuming external information without ever trusting your own internal frequency. People are desperately searching for the key to the vault, completely unaware that they are already standing inside the bank. Let me give you an example. I spent years trying to force my reality to change by memorizing everyone else's manifestation methods. I traveled 11,000 miles, invested thousands of dollars in high-level training, and studied with some of the best mentors in the world, desperately looking for that one missing piece. I would attend a massive seminar, my vibration would spike, and I would feel on top of the world. But when that external motivation faded, the uncertainty would creep back in. I would immediately start looking for the next external source to give me that high again. I was giving away all my power because I believed my success had to be handed to me from the outside. The real breakthrough didn't happen by finding one magical guru. It came after years of gathering the most elite knowledge, filtering out the noise, and realizing the ultimate purpose of the right guide isn't going to give you the answers. It is to provide you with the exact framework to unlock the vault that is already inside you. I spent years extracting, testing, and synthesizing the absolute best methods for achieving true entrainment and heart-brain coherence, so you don't have to spend a decade endlessly searching. True entrainment doesn't come from absorbing more external noise. It comes from having the right system to finally claim the massive dormant power already sitting in your storehouse. Have you ever felt the crushing burnout of investing your money, time, and energy into the next big secret, only to wake up feeling even more lost and empty than when you started? Have you ever felt the quiet, agonizing frustration of watching other people succeed using strategies that felt completely dead and unnatural to you, making you secretly wonder if your own internal compass is just broken? Have you ever felt entirely stripped of your own power because you placed your destiny in the hands of outside validation, completely abandoning your own internal authority? That's why you need step number 2, acknowledging the storehouse, to break free from the seeker's trap and claim absolute ownership over the infinite supply you already hold. Imagine if you never had to frantically chase another external solution ever again, standing completely grounded in the unshakable certainty. Imagine the profound relief of dropping the exhausting search, waking up every single day with crystal clear vision, and knowing exactly how to access the infinite power resting inside you. Imagine drawing from the boundless storehouse every single day, manifesting the good life from a state of total, effortless alignment. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. Step number 3, aligning the signal. Please write this down. The third step is ensuring your daily frequency perfectly matches your innate blueprint. This is where you perfectly synchronize your internal state with your success DNA. So your external reality naturally reflects your true potential. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever find yourself repeating positive affirmations out loud while your mind is secretly whispering, "Who are you kidding?" The biggest challenge I see is what I call signal sabotage. People say they want massive wealth and deep fulfillment, but their daily feelings and actions are still tightly aligned with past failures and survival mode, creating a scrambled, chaotic signal that the universe simply cannot read. Let me give you an example. Think about anyone who decides they're going to step up and change their life. They launch the new business, they go for the big promotion, or they start the new project. Outwardly, they're telling everyone they believe in their vision and they're putting in the long hours. But outwardly, they're waking up at 3 a.m. terrified of failing. Their mouth says they trust the process, but their nervous system is in full-on survival mode, desperately looking for immediate proof that they are safe. I know exactly how that feels. When I was building Manifest Insider, I would sit in front of the camera radiating conviction and talking about trusting the universe. But the moment the camera turned off, I would be obsessively refreshing my studio metrics, filled with a quiet anxiety because the view counts weren't climbing fast enough. I was so desperate for an immediate sense of control that I would even secretly agonize over an XRP trade on the side just to feel like I was winning somewhere. My outward words were broadcasting pure abundance, but my internal frequency was screaming fear and impatience. Because my signal was scrambled, my results completely reflected that chaotic inconsistency. It is exactly like trying to drive a sports car with the emergency brake securely locked in place. Have you ever smiled and told everyone your project is going great while secretly panicking on the inside? Have you ever worked a massive 12-hour day, checked off everything on your to-do list, and still went to bed completely feeling anxious and empty? Have you ever forced yourself to take relentless action, even when your gut was screaming at you that something was completely off? That's why you need step number 3, aligning the signal, to create a seamless bridge between ancient wisdom and modern heart-brain coherence, ensuring your thoughts, feelings, and actions are broadcasting one pure, undeniable frequency. Imagine if your outward confidence finally matched your quiet internal certainty. Imagine moving through every challenge with unshakable power, where the until factor, the absolute refusal to quit until you win, becomes your automatic stress-free response to life. Imagine waking up every single day with a complete unified frequency, effortlessly manifesting the good life, because your internal signal is finally loud, clear, and perfectly aligned. Raise your hand if you like the sound of that. Thank you. The second secret, the frequency of coherence. You're probably thinking, what does that mean? It means that your internal state acts like a radio transmitter. If your heart is sending out a signal of stress and your brain is sending out a signal of lack, you're literally out of sync with the abundance you're trying to attract. Manifestation isn't about working for money. It's about matching your frequency to the abundance that's already present in your success DNA. When you achieve heart-brain coherence, you stop repelling opportunities and start becoming a magnet for them. Raise your hands if you've ever heard some static on the radio only to find out that you weren't turned into the station you want. Let me ask you a question. If you were trying to listen to your favorite radio station, but you were turned to 98.5 instead of 102.7, would you blame the radio station for the static, or would you simply recognize that you were on the wrong frequency? I know some of you might be thinking, DC, what does radio static have to do with my manifestations? It means that your internal state acts as a radio transmitter. If your heart is sending out a signal of stress and your brain is sending out a signal of lack, you are literally out of sync with the abundance you are trying to attract. Manifestation isn't about working for money. It's about matching your frequency to the abundance that's already present in your success DNA. When you achieve heart-brain coherence, you stop repelling opportunities and start becoming a magnet for them. I have a mentor who just lost her father and lost meaning in her life. Her businesses were struggling just like she was, and she was even contemplating suicide out of utter despair. Raise your hand if you've ever witnessed anyone going through tough challenges, feeling heartbreaking despair. Thank you. It was when she became aware of her transmission, found a coach to guide her, and took the necessary steps based on that guidance that she is now thriving. The fact is, when she became aware of how her frequency was bringing about her current reality, everything changed. With the help of her mentor and coach, she studied and applied the scientific principles of heart-brain coherence. She intentionally aligned her transmission so that her physical system and her innate blueprint perfectly matched the exact reality she wished to feel and create in her world. You might be feeling this frustration right now. I know exactly how that feels. And it didn't just happen to me in business. It happened in my athletic career. Back in college, after earning my black belt in Taekwondo, I began training for and entering competitions. But for a long time, every single tournament I entered resulted in me losing my very first match. It completely frustrated me. I began training harder, pushing myself physically to the limit, but the results just didn't show, and I was seriously considering giving up. It wasn't until I came across two books. Those two books were Flow, and the other one was Winning Ugly, written by tennis legend Brad Gilbert, that I began to realize that it was my low vibrational, stressed frequency that was not allowing me to perform at my best. After incorporating the science behind the mental game, I became more relaxed and relinquished that tight, anxious grip on the outcome. And of course, this entire shift happened while I was training under the guidance of a coach. Once I aligned my internal state, I completed my career having won 11 medals across 3 different weight classes at national, state, collegiate, and regional tournaments. Have you ever finally gotten a little bit ahead financially, only for a random emergency to pop up and immediately wipe out your progress? Have you ever tried to force yourself to think positively while your chest feels tight and heavy with sheer panic? Have you ever ground yourself into absolute burnout, trying to hustle your way to the top, only to see your bank account stay exactly the same? That's why you need to master the frequency of coherence. When you align your heart's desire with your brain's focus, you move from survival mode into creation mode. You stop chasing abundance and you start allowing it to flow to you easily and abundantly in both expected and unexpected ways. Imagine waking up with absolute, rock-solid certainty that abundance is already yours before you even check your bank account. Imagine the profound relief of never having to force or hustle again, because you are naturally pulling opportunities directly to you. Imagine traveling the world, enjoying the best food and culture without a single lingering thought of worry or stress. Now you're probably thinking, how do I get and/or practice secret number 2, frequency of coherence? Let me tell you, it's easy. Let me break it down for you in 3 simple steps. Step number 1, audit the signal. The first step is to recognize when you're in a state of incoherence, where your thoughts and your feelings are at war. You have to identify the static of stress that is blocking your manifestation signal. Now let me ask you a question. Do you ever catch yourself physically clenching your jaw when checking your bank balance? The biggest challenge I see is that most people are living in a state of biological incoherence. They are completely unaware that their thoughts and feelings are at war, which effectively scrambles their manifestation signal before it even leaves the body. Let me give you an example. Think about anyone who sits down to write their goals or look at their vision board. Outwardly, they're doing the work, but inwardly, their chest is tight and their heart is racing with the stress of paying this month's rent. I remember sitting in high-level coaching calls, nodding along and taking notes, but my internal audit showed my nervous system was in total panic mode about my daily grind. I was going through the motions, but my signal was firmly locked in survival, not creation. Have you ever smiled through your affirmations while secretly stressing out about how you're going to pay next month's bills? Have you ever tried to focus on your dream life, only to have your brain immediately ambush you with a massive list of reasons why you will fail? Have you ever felt like your mind is hitting the gas pedal on your goals while your nervous system is slamming on the brakes? That is why you need to identify the static of stress that is blocking your manifestation signal and recognize exactly when you are in that incoherent state. Imagine if your internal state was so calm that stress literally could not stick to you. Imagine sitting down to work and feeling completely free of the background hum of anxiety. Imagine operating every single day with crystal clear, zero resistance focus. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. Step number 2 is about the what of alignment. It's about bringing the rhythm of your heart and the focus of your mind into a single unified broadcast. This isn't a wish. It's a physiological state that signals your storehouse to open up. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel completely anxious just from the sheer mental effort of trying to stay positive? The biggest challenge I see is the head-heart divide. People try to think their way into a new life while their heart is still broadcasting an old frequency of lack and fear. Let me give you an example. Think about the absolute exhaustion of trying to fake it till you make it. People force a smile, grind through their workday, and try to forcefully think positive thoughts while their physical body is screaming for rest and relief. I spent years trying to force my success through sheer mental willpower alone. I would try to just think my way into abundance, but my heart felt heavy, tired, and doubtful. The exponential heights only showed up when I stopped trying to forcefully muscle through it and actually brought the calm rhythm of my heart into alignment with the focus of my mind. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you mentally push for success, your physical reality refuses to budge? Have you ever been completely drained of energy, trying to think your way out of a frequency of fear? Have you ever felt that deep, sinking frustration of knowing exactly what you should do, but have absolute zero energy to actually do it? That's why you need to understand that your heart and mind must be a single, unified broadcast. Achieving this physiological state is exactly what signals your storehouse to open up. Imagine aligning your heart and mind so perfectly that success becomes your natural default state. Imagine dropping the mental struggle completely and letting your harmonized frequency do the heavy lifting. Imagine the absolute power of commanding your reality with a single, unified, undeniable signal. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. Step number 3, command the manifestation. The final step is projecting that coherent signal into your environment. This is where the as within, so without law takes over. You stop being a victim of your own circumstances and become the architect of your reality. Now let me ask you a question. Do you ever let one piece of bad news completely ruin your entire day? The biggest challenge I see is reactionary living. Most people are like a radio playing whatever static their environment provides, rather than commanding the frequency of the reality they actually want to inhabit. Let me give you an example. Think about how easy it is to wake up feeling amazing, totally unstoppable, until you get one stressful email, a single negative comment, or an unexpected bill, and instantly, your day is ruined. You become a victim to the outside world. I used to live exactly this way. If my video metrics were down, or if the market looked volatile, my entire day would instantly shift into a low, anxious frequency. I was a helpless passenger to algorithms and charts until I learned to intentionally project a coherent signal that remains steady and powerful regardless of the noise outside. Have you ever let a single negative comment, a tough phone call, or a dip in the market completely destroy your mood? Have you ever felt like you're just hopeless, reacting to whatever life throws at you instead of actually calling the shots? Have you ever felt your emotional state is completely held hostage by your external circumstances? That's why you need to stop being the radio that plays the static and start being the one that plays the hits, becoming the architect of your reality. Imagine becoming completely unbothered and unshakable, no matter what happens around you. Imagine projecting a frequency so powerful that your environment actually bends to match you. Imagine finally sitting in the driver's seat of your life, permanently switching from reaction mode into creation mode. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. And now we've come to the third and final secret, my personal favorite. And in a moment, you'll understand exactly why I saved this one for last. But before we dive into it, raise your hands if you've learned something of value in this session so far. Keep them raised. And how many of you would like to learn more? The third secret, the law of congruence. You're probably thinking, what does that mean? It means that for your success DNA to remain active, your thoughts, feelings, and actions must move in the exact same direction at the exact same time. Most people fail because they think about abundance, but they feel fear and they act in desperation. The congruence is the what that creates the permanent shift. It is how you move from trying to manifest to actually being the person whose legacy is inevitable because your entire being is in a state of total agreement. Raise your hands if you believe that athletes who go on to become champions must have some level of deep self-belief. Now let me ask you a question. If you saw a professional athlete who said they wanted to win a championship, but they secretly felt like a loser and never actually showed up to practice, would you ever expect them to leave a legacy? Or would you expect them to fail? Now, some of you are probably thinking, DC, I'm not an athlete, nor was I ever. What does this have to do with congruence and getting the things I want? It has everything to do with it. It means that for your success DNA to remain active, your thoughts, feelings, and actions must move in the exact same direction at the exact same time. Most people fail because they think about abundance, but they feel fear and they act in desperation. Congruence is the what that creates a permanent shift. That's how you move from trying to manifest to actually being the person whose legacy is inevitable because your entire being is in a state of total agreement. I know someone who loved to cook and did it as a hobby, bringing delicious food to parties and even filming some instructional videos on Facebook just for fun. At one point, he considered doing this for a living. However, the idea of leaving his corporate career and pursuing his passion seemed so far-fetched and terrifying. It wasn't until he took a look at his life and played it forward. He asked himself, how many years am I going to work 9 to 5, and what is the end result of that? Will I have lived my whole life working for someone else, letting the idea of turning my passion of cooking into profits pass me by? He realized then that he had to step out of his comfort zone and take a leap of faith. Today, he has a very successful business featuring the best of Nigerian cuisine and travels the world sharing his passion, all because he realized that staying comfortable was completely out of alignment with what he truly wanted. The fact is, when your heart is calling to express itself, biologically it sends a signal to the brain, like a soul-calling transmission, allowing us to play our lives forward and reevaluate what we're doing. If our daily actions are not what we truly want to do, physiologically, we are not aligned. That misalignment first shows up as chronic stress, then body aches and pains, and eventually disease. Our energy levels drop and doubt creeps in because we are spending our precious energy in a divided state. When this happens, we become just a shell of ourselves, living day to day until we are on our deathbed, wishing things were different. I know exactly what that divided state feels like. For a long time, caring for my mom when she was ill became my entire purpose. As hard as it is to admit, focusing completely on her also served as a convenient distraction from fixing my own life. When she transitioned, the smoke cleared, and I clearly saw that my life was heading toward a complete lack of purpose and direction. I realized the relationships around me, including some family, were highly transactional, and I had been completely blind to the mistreatment because my focus was solely on her. That moment was my absolute wake-up call to get my life together, not just for myself, but to honor her memory. I wanted to be the son she could be proud of, absolutely refusing to fall into the depths of despair or leave this life without giving it everything I had. It was only when I finally got congruent and aligned my actions with my true purpose that my health, my relationships, and every single area of my life started coming together for the better. Have you ever felt like you had a massive mission inside you, but your daily habits were still stubbornly stuck in the exact same old survival routines? Have you ever felt you had a massive mission inside you, but your daily habits were still stubbornly stuck in the exact same old survival routines? Have you ever achieved a big goal only to watch it completely slip through your fingers because you simply couldn't maintain the energy it took to keep it? Have you ever felt like a complete fraud because the person you show to the world is nothing like the anxious person you feel like when the lights go out? That's why you need the law of congruence. When your inner world and your outer actions become one unified force, you develop the intel factor. You stop being a seeker and you start being a leader. This is how you build a legacy that lasts. Not by working harder, but by ensuring that every single part of you is saying a massive yes to your purpose. Imagine the profound peace of knowing that your daily actions are a perfect reflection of your highest self, and your bank account is simply an automatic byproduct of that alignment. Imagine looking at your family and knowing with absolute certainty that the blueprint you are leaving them is one of total integrity and unshakable power. Imagine walking through your day with a perfectly even-keel emotional state because the exhausting internal war going on inside of you is finally over. Now you're probably thinking, how do I get and/or practice the law of congruence? Let me tell you, it's easy. Let me break it down for you in 3 simple steps. Step number 1, seal the leaks. The first step is identifying where your actions are contradicting your success DNA. You have to stop the leaks of energy that come from doing things that don't align with your mission. Let me ask you a question. What is one daily habit you have right now that you secretly know is actively killing your legacy? The biggest challenge I see is energy hemorrhaging. This simply means you are leaking massive amounts of power by engaging in daily habits that completely contradict your true goals. Most people are trying to build a massive legacy while simultaneously performing daily actions that actively drain their power. You are literally trying to fill a bucket that is full of holes. Let me give you an example. Think about how easy it is to claim you are leveling up your life, but then you spend your weekends engaging in mindless gossip or hanging out with people who complain about everything. Outwardly, you want success, but your actions are leaking power. I used to do this exact thing. I would talk about high-level mindset coaching and manifesting the good life, but I was still entertaining small talk and low vibration environments that completely contradicted my mission. I was hemorrhaging the exact energy I desperately needed to build my future. Have you ever said a forced yes to an obligation or a person when your gut and your success DNA were absolutely screaming no? Have you ever felt completely exhausted at the end of the day, not because you worked hard, but because you spent your entire day acting completely out of alignment with who you really are? Have you ever watched yourself waste hours on mindless distractions, knowing full well that you are literally draining your own potential? That's why you need to make a firm decision today to stop tolerating the actions that contradict your success DNA. Recognizing that you are hemorrhaging energy is the first step to sealing the leaks. Imagine if every single ounce of your daily energy was perfectly preserved for your true purpose. Imagine the unstoppable momentum you would have if you finally stopped fighting yourself and sealed those energetic leaks for good. Imagine waking up with full vitality because your actions and your truth are in total agreement. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. Step number 2, anchor the identity. Step 2 is about the what of becoming. You have to adopt the identity of the person who already has the legacy you want. Your feelings must match that future reality right now. Let me ask you a question. If you were already a world-class success you were meant to be, exactly how would you carry yourself in this very moment? The biggest challenge I see is the identity lag. This happens when your physical reality has started to level up, but your internal self-image is still stuck in the past. People desperately want the physical results of a world-class leader, but they're still carrying the emotional weight and the self-image of the person who failed 5 years ago. Let me give you an example. Think about anyone who finally gets the promotion, lands the big client, or starts the business, but they spend every single day terrified that someone is going to find them out. They have the title, but not the identity. I experienced this identity lag firsthand. Even after traveling thousands of miles and investing heavily in elite training in Dubai, I still had to consciously shift how I carried myself. I had to stop desperately trying to be a successful coach and actually start being the coach who had already helped thousands of people, even before the physical evidence caught up to me. Have you ever achieved a massive goal only to instantly feel like a complete imposter who didn't actually deserve to be in the room? Have you ever completely talked yourself out of a life-changing opportunity because you felt you weren't ready yet, even though you had every single skill required? Have you ever looked in the mirror and realized your physical reality has leveled up, but your self-confidence is still stuck in the past? That's why you need to anchor the identity of the person who already has the legacy you want, ensuring your daily feelings perfectly match that future reality right now. Imagine walking through the world with absolute, unshakable certainty of a person who has already won. Imagine how much faster your external reality would shift if your internal reality was already permanently anchored in your success DNA. Imagine never feeling like an imposter again because you fully own your own power and your position. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. And step number 3 is maintain the frequency. The final step is consistency. This is where the heart-brain coherence from secret number 2 becomes a permanent trait rather than a temporary state. Let me ask you a question. Are you ready to stop living a divided life and step into the absolute full power of your congruency? The biggest challenge I see is inconsistent impact. This is where you have short bursts of powerful focus, but completely lose your momentum just a few days later. People have high congruent moments, but they haven't developed the congruent trait. They are incredibly powerful and focused on Monday, but completely derailed and powerless by Wednesday because they simply cannot maintain the signal. Let me give you an example. Think about the high you feel after finishing an incredible book or a powerful seminar. You're ready to conquer the world. But 48 hours later, you're stuck in traffic, stressed about a bill, and completely back in your old survival routines. I had to face this exact cycle. To break it, I had to learn to fiercely protect my energy. I had to stay away from heavily distracted, crowded environments and get extremely clear on exactly what I wanted to accomplish. I had to learn to maintain my frequency and stay perfectly aligned, regardless of the heavy energies or daily distractions trying to pull me off course. Have you ever felt like you're on top of the world after a great coaching call, only to crash right back into your old, frustrating reality just 48 hours later? Have you ever felt like a completely divided house where one part of you is desperately ready for greatness, but the other part is still stubbornly stuck in a mundane, vicious cycle? Have you ever built up massive momentum only to let one stressful week completely derail months of hard work? That's why you need to make heart-brain coherence a permanent trait rather than a temporary state, ensuring your consistency becomes your absolute greatest superpower. Imagine your personal power was no longer just a sometimes thing, but your permanent daily reality. Imagine the sheer freedom of living a life where you stepped into the full, undeniable power of your congruence, and you never have to look back. Imagine becoming a living, breathing manifestation of the good life every single day. Raise your hands if you like the sound of that. Now you've seen the 3 secrets and the steps to activate them. You've seen the pain of the vicious cycle and the pleasure of living your success DNA. Now you're probably thinking, how do I do this every single day without the static coming back? Because if you leave this masterclass and try to muscle through this by yourself, the daily grind is going to pull you right back into the static. This is exactly why I created the Zenith Mastery Accelerator. It's a 7-week manifestation mindset coaching program designed to take you from a sometimes state to a permanent trait of congruence. I want to be transparent. What you're watching is the pilot phase of this program. We're building this foundation together, which makes this the most intimate, hands-on version of this accelerator that will ever exist. I want to play out the syllabus for you right now so you can see exactly where we are going on this journey. The 7-week roadmap. Week 1, the master blueprint. This is our orientation where we lay out the complete syllabus for your transformation. You will finally see the big picture of your success DNA and understand exactly how the pieces of your life are going to fit together. Week number 2, step 1, the audit of the storehouse. We identify the specific point A variables that have been keeping you in the vicious cycle. You'll gain total awareness of what needs to be muted so you can start with a clean slate. Week 3, step 2, reclaiming the energy. We will transform you from a seeker who is always looking outside to an owner who operates from within. You begin to feel the shift in your power as you stop seeking permission and start reclaiming your blueprint. Week 4, step 3, the harmonization phase. We will work on the internal alignment between your mind's focus and your heart's rhythm. This is where things start to click and you feel the first real taste of the intel factor in your daily life. Week 5, Step 4, Sealing the Legacy Leaks. We go deep into your daily habits and environment to find where your energy is hemorrhaging. You become a closed loop of high-frequency power, preserving everything for your mission. Week 6, Step 5, the Congruency Anchor. This is the final step where your new identity becomes your permanent reality. You walk through the world with absolute certainty of a world-class leader you were designed to be. Week 7, the Integration and Impact Q&A. A live session to ensure your blueprint is ironclad and every question is answered. You step out of the accelerator as a master of your own manifestation. The reason I decided to create this program is because I see too many brilliant people trapped in a vicious cycle of struggle, and frankly, I have had enough of seeing people suffer through life when they were designed for greatness. This is not for everyone. I'm very selective about who I work with to ensure the frequency of the group remains high. This is specifically for two types of people. Those of you just starting out who want to do it right the first time. And those of you who are seasoned but are tired of being inconsistent with your results. I reserve the right to work only with those who are a true fit for this mission. We have included the important disclosure section in the final part. This ensures that everyone who watches the masterclass is verbally informed of the program's nature, that it is not financial, medical, or legal advice, and that individual results are their own responsibility. As soon as you enroll and claim your spot, your first step is a private one-on-one onboarding call with me. We will audit your storehouse and set your baseline before we even hit the ground running with the group sessions. I'm going to take you from point A to point B by systematically muting the static and anchoring your new identity as a permanent trait. If you had to put a figure on it, how much is it worth to you to finally get the things you truly want in this life? To live with absolute congruence? Is it worth $1 million? $100 million? I've spoken to many on this journey, and let's be conservative and say the value of that transformation is at least $50,000. The good news is, I don't need you to invest $50,000 today. The standard brochure investment for the Zenith Mastery Accelerator is $3,000. But I have a reason for making this even more accessible right now. Since we are in the ground stages of developing this pilot, I want to seed this program with success stories, and I want to reward the action takers who see the vision early. If you've made it to this part of the recording and watched the entire masterclass, congratulations. I want to thank you for investing in yourself. Because we are here at the beginning, I am offering a sponsorship price. For the first group of students to enroll through the Linktree application provided, the investment is not $3,000. It is not even half that. You can claim your spot today for just $997. Understand, as we grow, the price will grow with us. Imagine if you had seen a thought leader like Tony Robbins at the very beginning when he was offering a crazy low entry price. Imagine passing that up only to look back 10 years later when he's massively successful and his prices have soared while your life stayed exactly the same. I'm not saying I'm the next Tony Robbins, but I'm asking you to imagine, what if this is the same level of opportunity for you right now? Important disclosure. Before you click on that link, I want to be clear. This is a coaching program based on my personal manifestation framework. It is not a financial, medical, or legal service, and individual results will always depend on your application and consistency. I'm here to guide you, but you are the architect of your own results. Before we wrap up, I want to take a second and just breathe. You've stayed with me because something in your success DNA recognized a truth it's been waiting for. That nudge you're feeling right now, that isn't me. That's your innate blueprint finally shouting louder than the static of your past. I'm not here to convince you to change your life. I'm here to tell you that the life you want has already been negotiated for. The storehouse is open, the blueprint is in your hands, and the only thing left is for you to step into the congruence of who you were actually designed to be. You've spent enough time living a divided life, fighting for a version of yourself that doesn't even fit. It's time to stop seeking and start reclaiming. I'm ready to walk this path with you, and I can't wait to see the legacy we're going to build together inside the Accelerator. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your trust, and I'll see you on the inside. Manifest a good life. Why not you?